In a previous video, we showed how to choose a background color, in this case of a div. And I want to push this program a little bit further and determine the brightness of that color so that we can choose a foreground color that has a sufficient contrast. So I posted the previous version of the program at this URL seen here in this comment, HTML comment. And let's just remind you what we had previously. So we have this div, it starts two divs. One, I'm using a series of drop-down selects to choose an amount of red, green, and blue to choose a color. And down here, I'm using the input of the color type. Okay, so that's what we had previously. I'm going to do save as. I'm going to make a second version of this. And now what I want to do is I want to, in this div, I want to display the amount of red and green and blue. And then also here I am setting the background color. I want to set the color, which is the font color or foreground color. But so I want to set the color. I'm just going to set the color to either black or white. But if it's a dark color, I'll set the font to white. And if it's a bright color, a light color, then I will set the color to black. So I want to be able to determine the sort of brightness of the color. Okay, so what do I want to do? Let's just first do some displaying. So here I'm setting the background, the style dot background color, but now let's also work with the innerHTML. I want to display the properties. So I'm going to display, I'm going to show the amount of red, and I'm going to, it is HTML I'm writing, so I can put in tags like a break tag. And there I'm displaying the amount of red. Then so let's just do that for now. And then I'll make a mistake and we'll fix it. So here is this not working. Well, this is the old version, that's why. So let me bring up the new version. Open with the live server, change the amount. There is the red showing. So now I will add the green. I'll make a mistake and then I'll fix it. Control copy, Control V, change to the green and display the green. This is a mistake. And then we'll fix that mistake. So here's the green, but I've lost the red. And this is because I have set the innerHTML to R plus red plus a break. And then I set it to green plus the variable green plus a break. And so I have overwritten my red. So I don't want to overwrite, I want to add to it. So one is I could just make this line 49 much longer, but I don't want to do that. What I want to do here is change this equal to a plus equal. So the plus equal, the first 49 says anything that might have been there, replace, make this the new writing, overwrite. But in 50 with the plus equal, this says take what you already have and add to it. So now we should have, there is the red and the green. And now let's also add the blue. So I want, what did I just do? Copy, paste, add in the blue and the blue. And I don't really necessarily need the break on this last one unless I'm going to add more something else about the color, but I'm not. So here we are, red, green, and blue. Okay. Now, I'd also like, so it is showing up in, let's make one of these numbers large enough, 80, and we see we're seeing it in the hex code. Okay, so let's get also the decimal version. We have the hexadecimal code, base 16, and let's get the hexadecimal amount of red, green, or sorry, the decimal amount of red, green, and blue, which is a number between 0 and 255. Because I would like to do some calculation and I don't want to try to be calculating with CCs and FFs because remember when we get a variable off the page, it's really understood as a string. And so then to try to do the calculation with something that is CC or FF and the computer thinking it's a string and it's a bunch of letters, it's really going to be confused if I try to calculate. So let's get numerical versions. And we've seen this before when we try to turn strings, when we try to say you're a number, we use parseInt. Well, there's a variation on parseInt that says, I know the number's base 16 that I'm bringing in. And that just is adding, we call another argument to base 16. So I'm going to make another version. I'll call it R. I'll call it R for the red. And this will be parse, if I could spell, parseInt of the red, and I'm going to get it from base 16. I'll do the same for G. And that is for the green. I'll make it base 16, and one more for the blue. Now I have presumably them in their base 10 decimal version. I'm going to add that to my display. So I'm going to come down here. You see here as I'm coming in and out of literals. So I want it to be R colon always and a space. Then I want the variable red. Then I want the break tag. I'm going to add more to that before the break. I want to add maybe a space and parenthesis, open parenthesis, and then I want this amount of red, and then I want, well, no, I could just add a close parenthesis here in the break. Let's see how we're doing. Did I do that right? So now there's the red as 0. There's the red as CC, but the decimal number is 204. Okay, so and this is just a display, but let's get it right. Plus space parenthesis plus the G plus the close parenthesis, and for the blue plus quote space open parenthesis plus the B plus, now I need a close parenthesis. Okay. So that was fun. Here now we're displaying the R, the G, and the B. Okay. Now we see when we start, it's dark writing on a dark background. It's hard to see. So that's what we'd like to work on next. And I'm going to steal this calculation. So here I am on Stack Overflow, and I asked about the brightness of an RGB color. And there are different models and different ways of doing this. I'm going to take this one. And I'm not going to argue which one's better or anything like that. I'm just going to take it as it is. And let me do a let in programming. A number in front of a variable when I'm just sort of displaying some expression out in the world, that's fine. The multiplication is implied, but in programming, we usually have to make our multiplication explicit, which is an asterisk. So that's what's complaining about here. So I need stars. And the amount of space doesn't matter. It could be, I could have no space around the star or space around the star, and I'll put a semicolon in, so I can get away without the semicolon in JavaScript. So now I have this Y, so R, G, and B were numbers between 0 and 255. And now I'm taking some fraction of the red and some fraction of the green and some fraction of the blue. And let me just bring up a calculator. And I can work in not programmer mode. Let me work in standard mode. And those fractions, my calculator's so big, 0.2126 plus 0.7152 plus 0.0722. They add up to 1. That's what I wanted to show you. So if I had white, if I had pure white, R was 255, G was 255, B was 255, I'd have these fractions of red, fractions of green, fractions of blue, and that would add up to 255. So the biggest Y is 255, and the smallest Y is of course 0 if R and G and B are 0. Okay, so now what I want to do is ask a question about Y. So Y varies between 0 and 255, as did R and G and B individually. And I want to ask a question about Y, a true false question about Y. And I want to know if Y is greater than 127. I'll say 127. Then what do I want to do? So I have the keyword if. I have in parentheses my question, my true false question I'm asking. I'm asking, is this Y that I just calculated, is it bigger than 127? And if that's true, I want to do something. And if it's false, I want to do something else. So the false code goes in the else, and the true code goes in the first block. And what I want to do is do the color. Instead of the background color, I want to do the color. That's the writing. So document get element by ID div color dot style dot color. There it is, color. And what is this? If it's 127, then it is bright, and I am going to make the fore color or the font color black. And I'm just going to use, there are a number of ways to express colors in HTML. One of them is just if you know the name of the color, so I can just say black. I could also say $0.000000. That is another way to make black. And I want to do the same thing here. Why type so much? Control C, Control V, and if it is otherwise, if it's not a bright color, then let's make the font color white. So let's see where we're at here. So if I make 20% red, then it's still a very dark red, and my font color is white. But if I add a lot of green, then I switched over. Now it's a brighter color, and I'm writing in black. But if it's a dark green, I'm writing in white. But if it's a bright color, I write in black. Okay. That's part of what I wanted to do. So what else did I want to do? I want to do, we see that when it comes up, it is, we're not displaying the colors. It's not that we're displaying the colors and it's black on black. It's, we're not displaying anything at all. And I could fix that in design, but I'm going to fix that by triggering an event because I like to trigger events. And that's the other Stack Overflow thing I have here. There's a way to encode, make it as though the user has done something to dispatch an event. And I want to call a function, but I don't want to paste. Control V. So I want to make it seem like they've called, I probably called it cell color or cell red. Just call one of the selects, doesn't matter which one. So I'll pretend I've called cell red and then dispatched a change event. And now there it is, it comes up with the RGB, red, green, and blue. Okay. So I have this div, I have the style of the div. I'm going to add a little bit to the style. I'm going to add a little bit of padding because it drives me crazy that it's right next to the writing's right next to the border of the. So I'm going to, in each of my divs there, give myself a little padding so I'm not right up against the edge. Okay. Now I'd like to just repeat the same thing more or less down here. I'm going to get the red, the green, and the blue and basically copy this code except make it div color 2 probably, if I know. But first I got to get from here the red, the green, and the blue. So we saw that this value, we're alerting it out. Let's see what it looks like in the input. When I choose some color there, then I get a hex code for the color, a £, and then 2 digits for the red, 2 hexadecimal digits for the red, 2 for the green, 2 for the blue. So let's see how to tear that apart and get what we had up here, a red, a green, and a blue. So I'm going to say let red equal, and I'm going to use a thing known as a substring, I'm going to take my color, which we just saw, it was alerted out, and I'm going to get a substring. So my color is a string, a sequence of letters, and a substring is then some part of it. And I have two indices, two numbers that tell me where to begin and where to end when I'm taking just part of the word. And it's also, this little hint here is telling me that it's zero based. So that pound sign we saw at the beginning is 0. And I want then the two letters that follow that. So that will be 1 and 2. And the green is going to be see if this works. 3 and 4. I think I'm wrong. I think this is the first one that you don't use. So that is 1, 3, 3, 5, and then 5, 7. But or I could just say 5 and it will give me the rest of it. And let's alert the green to see if we're picking out the middle. If we've picked out the green properly, then the red and the blue are probably right. So here we go, we're changing this. And so our color that we're popping out is #813276. And so the green should be the 3, 2. There's the 3, 2. So we're doing that effectively. And then I want, again, so I pulled what I got out of the color input was this hex code number. And then I want to play this whole game again. So there's another way we could do this better probably, since if you're copying a lot of code and pasting it, it's probably a better way to do it. But for now, we're beginners, so we will do it the bad way, save the good way for another time. Let's Control V. I'm going to get, after I get the red, the green, and the blue, I'm going to get the R, G, the G, and the B. I'm going to calculate the Y, and I'm going to display and change all of these to color 2. I was already changing the background color, so I don't need to do that. So I'm going to make that a comment. And I'm not going to alert anymore. That'll be a little bit obnoxious. Okay. And let's see how we're doing here. So I change some color, and there it was. So let's make a darker color. And I don't seem to be turning white, and I know why, because I changed the color of the wrong div. That's why. Let's try it again. Okay, so now I'm choosing color. Let me choose a dark color. Then it's a white. Now let me choose a light color. And the writing is black. Okay, up here, I wrote the letters and they were capital letters, but here when they're writing the letters, they're using small letters. Okay, and let me dispatch another event for the second one. Control C, Control V, I'll say element 2, I'll say element 2, it is not a select this time. What did I call it? A txt color, so that is txt color element, and it has an input event is its main event. And there's the alert, because it has an alert and I called it, and so it pops up in the beginning in white, since the default color is black, the starting color is black. Then I am getting determining that its brightness is a dark color, so I'm writing in white and displaying that. And I can choose that color, and I can change this color. Okay. So I think that is what I wanted to show you. So what did we add? We added converting the hexadecimal numbers into decimal numbers using this parseInt with the 16. I took some calculation off of Stack Overflow to determine this luminosity or brightness or whatever it is. There are different models of that. I'm just picking one. I don't care. I'm not invested in that argument. I just want to do some calculation and then have an if based on that calculation. So if the number was large, then that background color was going to be light in color, and I wanted a dark background to have a decent contrast. Otherwise, it was a dark color, and I wanted a white writing. What did we see down here? I changed the background color, which we were originally doing. That was the old stuff. I added innerHTML, and we emphasized the difference between overwriting and appending. Then down here, we had a different way of the user entering the color. This input of the color type gave us the hex code, the 6 hexadecimal digit code for the color. And we used the notion of substring to break it up into the 3 things. And then we could more or less repeat what we had above, convert them to decimals, perform the calculation, choose the color, the font color, the for color, whatever you want to say, but this is how you do it, the dot color, black and white accordingly, and also display. And we dispatch some events so that it would sort of come up as if the user had already acted when the page starts. Okay, that's what I wanted to show you. Thanks for your attention.